So who am I speaking with?
Hi, my name's Kevin Systrom, the CEO of Instagram.
Hey, Kevin, great presentation up there with Ohm. I want you to go through some of the things you were talking about the difficulties of making a mobile app versus a web application, or a website actually for that matter. What are the specific difficulties?
Well, I really think that, HTML and JavaScript are something that we all are very accustomed to. And when you get into Objective-C and you get into these native platforms, not only are you dealing with a different language, but you're also dealing with very different access patterns, right? No longer are you dealing with browsers and browser incompatibilities, but you're also dealing with things like being on 3G or Edge, right, that are really slow. So you have to make sure to optimize your app for speed and for inactivity of network.
You created an application, and I must say, very brave of you to create an application that was in such an amazingly crowded space. Why do you think you guys came out on top? And really, I mean, people talk about your application with true love. What do you think happened there? What were the different elements that you put into it that make it so popular?
I think it's actually what elements we didn't put into it. We kept it really simple. And the one thing that people keep saying on Twitter about Instagram is how addicted they are. And that's what really excites us, because we feel like we've created something that's easy to use and it's simple, right? I think the thing that makes us stand apart is that we removed extraneous features, right? And focused on what matters. And
So go through the specifics.
sure, so we focused on speed of upload, right? A lot of people don't consider that a feature, but it's very much a feature internally, and we graph it constantly, and we make sure that it's always fast. The filters we put a lot of effort into, and with this V2.0 release, if you haven't downloaded it yet, makes filters go from 4-second render times to 4-millisecond render times, right? And that's a huge jump in speed for us. So we're really excited about those small things that we concentrate on to make the user experience that much better.
Specifically the filters. I have seen so many applications that allow for filters, and most people completely ignore them. But I swear, I don't think anybody sends out an Instagram without a filter. Why do you think people love them so much?
So two things. One is about a third of our photos don't have a filter, which is really interesting, though they may use a filter in another application and simply not filter it internally. I think that people use our filters because, one, we put a lot of effort into making them good, right? I think there's a subjective quality to or judgment about the filters. I think we're really excited about how hard we've worked on that. Secondly is we put it as part of the flow. It's not an extra option. It's simply presented to you in the upload process. And I think that's what makes a lot of people try it out initially and use it.
Then very lastly, you were actually giving some advice to other developers. A lot of people who read DICE are developers in their own right. What advice would you give to people who are developing mobile apps and try to be as successful as you?
Move quickly and get the details right. Putting out half-baked apps is, I think, the worst thing you can do. I think on the web, people are typically a little more lenient because it is easy to iterate. Do fewer things, but do the fewer things better. Focus on the details of what matters in those few things, and I think you'll succeed.
All right, so just very lastly, so what would be examples of details that matter? I know you specified for yours, but for global issues on all apps.
Right. Well, I mean, simply things like speed and error cases, right? Like if you can't connect to the network, fail gracefully. Making sure that translations are correct. These small little details that, really frustrate people. It's amazing how many, apps you can download off the App Store. And if you have Edge, they, stop working and they start crashing, right? There are all sorts of little details that matter, and really it's up to the specific application. But what I would do is take a step back and list out the 3 things that really matter for your app, and make sure every detail about those 3 things matters. For us, it was speed, distribution to other networks, and speed of upload, right? Those things mattered so much that we made sure we nailed them. And I think that if you write out your 3 things, you can be very successful as well.
Kevin, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.